On this episode, we talk to a true legend. Nasir Jones, known to the world as Nas, is one of hip-hop's most respected artists. Since his instantly classic debut album Illmatic was released in 1994, Nas has found himself at the forefront of hip-hop. His intelligence, talent, and dedication to his craft are second to none, and we were honored to be able to talk to him and ask him about some of his lyrics that have long puzzled us. Rap Genius co-founder Ilan Zakori spoke to Nas at a recording studio in Los Angeles.
Definitely the most debated Nas line on Rap Genius is from Illmatic, and it's "Time is Illmatic, keep static like wool fabric." So I wonder if you could tell us what that means.
I mean, you know, electricity is just amazing. You know, wool fabric, certain different type of fabrics and materials, they produce some kind of electricity. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It's also found in the kinkiness of most black people's hair and stuff like that. You know, I keep static, you know, that's hood life. You know, static is beef. You know, static is kind of old school phrase, but that's an ill phrase, static. You know, who wants some static? That's how they used to say back in the days when I was a kid. Keep static like wool fabric. You know, static was just the electricity static, you know, when you do your clothes and you see a spark in your clothes, and a little small, like blue-white fire, a blue-white flame in your clothes and shit. So, y'all know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the idea of like people on the internet decoding lyrics? You think that's cool?
Hell yeah, it's cool, man. You know, I'm an MC, so I'm all for it. You know, when you decode lyrics, you know, you really it's the language of the people, so you're listening to what's being said, and you find new ways to look at life and new ways to look at, you know, different ways to explain different things. And lyrics, you know, open up that door to a whole new world of explaining life and things and situations. Definitely.
Cool. I got a question about like the word Illmatic itself. I heard Tragedy saying "Forget ill, I get Illmatical" on a Marley Marl track in '88. So I was wondering if that was a word that was going around Queensbridge, or did you make that word, or was that like a slang for you and your friends, or what was the deal?
Yeah, that was a slang. That was a slang in Queensbridge. There was a few dudes I knew. Well, one dude, especially on my block on Vernon, who had the name Illmatic Ice, and the whole hood knew Illmatic Ice. You know what I mean? But that was just a slang. If you had a name like that, you was like the epitome of ill. You know, so Illmatic is just a word in my neighborhood forever. Yeah. Cool.
I got a question about a couple of your album covers. Who's the guy pouring champagne on Street's Disciple on the cover?
Oh man, that's one of the disciples. You know, he must have been Peter.
All right, we'll put that down as Peter.
But he had the N hat, so maybe his name was something else.
Gotcha.
Like, you know.
And then what about the pigeon on Stillmatic? What's that?
Man, the pigeon is, you know, it's just birds. You know, it's just New York street birds.
Uh-huh.
The flying rat. But pigeons. You know, I respect the birds. You know, I respect the bird games, the bird world. You know, the shout out to Mike Tyson. You know, because he really knew how to. That's a New York bird. It's a world bird, but that's the real bird. You know, not to disrespect the pigeon by calling it a rat with wings. Really, it's just that's our people's the pigeon.
All right, I got another line that's a mystery to the Rap Genius community. This one's maybe a little dirty. I don't know. It's the line, "You'll be I like blood money in a pimp's cum," or maybe it's pimp's cup. I'm not sure I heard it right, but nobody on Rap Genius knows what that means.
It's pimp's cum.
Pimp's cum. Okay.
Around that time when I wrote that song, that's a song called "Take It in Blood," and that was my way of saying, you know, if you want what I have on, you got to take it in blood. Like, if whether it's whatever I'm wearing, like I shall not be robbed by no man in the street. In my life, I've been robbed by educated people with MBAs and degrees, and educated thieves. I've been robbed, you know. So the business world are way more treacherous than any street person I came with. I'd rather have been robbed in the street than get caught by how I got caught in life. But yeah, but taking the blood means if you want to rob me, kill me. And I'm alive, so I've never been robbed in my life. So when I said, you be all right, it's just like, yeah, you know, however you feel about what you're doing with your life, you feel like however you feel, live your life. You be all right. But this is street shit, you know? So it's like Donald Goines inspired that line. I was reading some of his shit, and Robert Beck, and they talked a lot about the pimp life and the way the streets were in the 50s and 40s. So I was encouraged by Donald Goines, and I was just really just trying to relate to the streets with that line.
Cool. That leads me to like a political question on like Black President. You sounded very hopeful about Obama presidency, but you also like indicated that you had a little sense that things might not work out. You said like, when he wins, will he really care still? What's your opinion of how things are going so far?
Oh man, you know, I never trusted politics ever in my life. I never cared, because politics never cared about people like me. Barack Obama is just too good of a person for the job that he has to have. The job that he has to have is, I mean, I just take my hat off to Barack, because he's out here talking about healthcare and things that all people need, things that other countries have, and people are mad at that. And there's nothing, it seems like there's almost like nothing he can do to make people happy. It's an impossible job. But at the same time, I don't see anybody that can really come in there and do any better. So I think America's in a crazy place right now, and Barack's in a tough position, and he just seems like a real good man. He seems like a true American, a real American. And unfortunately, that position that he's at, they don't want real people. They don't want human beings. They want monsters there who are crazy about money. And I don't know how he can balance being a human being and also satisfy Republicans and satisfy the nuts here in this country. You know what I mean? I take my hat off to him. I think he's doing an amazing job at just keeping his sanity. Yeah.
Another big question on Represent. You say, "Gods, I don't believe in none of that shit." And in later songs, you see more positive or open to religion. I know you've studied a lot of religion. Where are you at these days? Where are your religious views at?
Well, gods, I don't believe in gods, plural. You know, at that point, I was learning about Greek gods, and I learned about African gods, and there's a god of the tree, and a god of the seas, and a god of the skies, and then there's Zeus, and all of these interesting stories about people, about gods, and it was just too much for me at that age. So about gods, I don't believe in none of that shit. Your facts are backwards. So at the time when I said that, some 5%ers thought I meant the 5% nation gods. And I didn't even think that deep when I wrote it to talk about 5% nation gods, because at that time, 5% nation was deep in the hood, and that influenced me. So I wasn't talking about that. But yeah, when I wrote that, it was just like, it was like every god that was over humans, I was questioning that, man. Just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I needed someone to explain me. I didn't trust pastors, preachers, and stuff like that.
We'll be right back with the rest of our talk with Nas. You're listening to Outside the Lines with Rap Genius. Welcome back to Outside the Lines with Rap Genius. I'm your host, Same Old Sean. We began the second half of our conversation with Nas by asking about perhaps his most famous lyric.
When you wrote "Sleep is the cousin of death," did you have any idea it would become such an iconic line with T-shirts and everybody knowing it and everything like that?
Yeah, sleep is a cousin of death was around before I was born. That was just a saying in the spirit, you know. That's African, and that's where it came to me. That's how it came to me.
Cool. One of my favorite lines on the record on Illmatic is on halftime when you say, "I bag bitches up at John Jay." Is that really a pickup spot? Are there any stories about that?
Pickup spots for me was every high school. Of course, Hillcrest in Queens, John Jay, St. John's. The high schools were it. That's where all the girls were when I was coming up.
Ever since I heard Smokin', I've been trying to develop my own potent creep move. What's a potent creep move to you? What do you have in mind?
What verse was that?
It's just in the hook. You say, "Is your creep move potent?"
Oh, I mean, you know how you move. You know, you have to be focused in the way you move, whether you're moving with, you know, you riding dirty or you know, doing your thing or whatever it is. As long as you're moving focused and strong, and your focus is strong on how you're moving through life. That's all.
All right, one more Illmatic question. In the world is yours, you say, "The fiend of hip hop has got me stuck like a crack pipe." Does the analogy go all the way? Are there downsides to hip hop addiction like there are to crack?
Hell yeah.
What are the downsides?
Downsides is you start to believe that you are God, the king of the world, you're this and you're that, and you invented everything, and you become self-centered, and you know, you become lost in your own fame, success. You start believing it, and you should. A part of it you should believe because you needed to be competitive and you needed to believe in yourself and know that your shit is great. But the fiend part of it is just like anything else. Too much of anything will kill you.
Got a word association game. I'll just say somebody and you tell me what you think. Youll Be.
I don't know. I know a little B from Queensbridge. Bishop, what up?
Kendrick Lamar.
Future.
That's racist.
Never. I don't know.
Drake.
My man.
All right, cool. Some questions about your new album, Life is Good. People are real excited, especially people on Rap Genius, love Odd Future. People are excited about your collabos with Tyler, Haji Beats, Frank Ocean. Also, I saw your interview with Tyler. I thought there was some good rapport there. You like working with those guys?
Those dudes are real music, man. Those dudes they love what they do. They're real fans of music. Spoke to Frank Ocean other day through the text. You know, Frank Ocean asked me what's up with Christmas. Maybe he got some plans, I don't know. But I'm dying to work with Frank. Frank is my dude. I was excited to see him on the Throne album. And Tyler, I'm just excited about him because he's just I don't give a fuck kind of dude, you know. And, you know, I'm excited to see where all these young guys are going. Drake, Kendrick, Cole. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do and who they're gonna be. I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? Because I'm watching them come up. Is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's cool. We're working with these guys who are kind of like the future of hip hop, and then there's guys who bring a lot of people like myself back to some really great memories, like working with AZ again on Life is Good. Real excited about that. He was.
Well, let me say, Life is Good, man. Is a light. I'm always fighting the dark. I feel like more recent in the last 8-10 years of my life. So when I say life is good, that's how I feel every day. So when people ask me about the album title, that's how I feel every day when I say life is good. But basically, don't be surprised if the title changes to something, to the next chapter of Life is Good. Even though that's sort of the theme of the stuff I'm making now and the music I'm making. But life is good is just how I feel like no matter what, you gotta always remember the light. You gotta always remember the good energy in life. And then that's all I'm promoting. And if it comes out to be that title, then that's it. But that's the vibe I'm on regardless, you know?
Cool. And last question, just I was listening to Like Smoke, and it's just a real beautiful song. And it just seems like you and Amy had a real intense connection and like desire to be around each other. Is there anything you want to say about working with Amy or anything like that?
I mean, how cool is it to meet someone who you share the same birthday with, who's a great artist?
Yeah.
When does that happen? That doesn't happen too much. So I think that was the connection overall. And then on top of that, I didn't get a chance to really know her that much. I knew her through music, I knew her through Skype, I knew her through texting, I knew her through telephone, I knew her through hanging out one time in London, like one trip in London, just hanging with her. But, you know, I met her through Salam Remy. And I mean, the greatest thing and the fucked up thing is that the greatest thing and the thing that's sad is that I met someone who shared my same birthday, who we had no competition, we had no beef, we had no tension, nothing like that. It was just, it was like we always knew we were supposed to be cool. And that's as far as it goes, you know. She was like a sister to me. So, you know, being a part of her project to me was an honor because we never got a chance to do the music that we were talking about doing together. And just to be a part of her project and have her music today with the new record she dropped is a blessing, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's an honor to be sitting here with you. From my perspective, you're the most lyrically gifted rapper ever, and we're excited to have you be like the first rapper on Rap Genius to come up with some explanations of his own lyrics and add that to the site. And we talk to other rappers, and they say, I'll do it if Nas does it. So that's exciting to us, too.
Lyrics are everything, man. I wish B.I.G. was around to explain it, you know, because he was that Alfred Hitchcock dude. I wish that Pac was around. Pun. So many lyricists were around who really cared about the art form. Who those guys cared about the art form so much, and they were trendsetters. You know what I mean? There was nothing like them. There'll never be anything like those guys. So the fact that there's artists today that want to talk on Rap Genius about our genre, our art form, man, that's a beautiful thing. I love it, and I'm here to support that.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Paul.
it.
Thanks. All right.